guys, I'm Sravni here from Cake Pop Rush, and today we're making my ultimate chocolate cake with super simple decor that will definitely level up your cake. This cake is eggless and it can be made in a vegan version too. How cool is that? Taste test time! This cake is so delicious, light, fluffy, and it's so chocolatey, so moist. It makes sense that it is so chocolatey because melted chocolate is one of the ingredients in making this. Yeah, it's delicious. So this video has 3 stages. First stage is making of the sponge, second stage is making of the ganache, and third stage, the most fun part, that is the decor. So let's get started. To make your chocolate sponge, take a microwave safe bowl and add chocolate to it. Put it in the microwave for 30 seconds. You have to stir it once it's out of the microwave. You may see that it is not melted much, but it is important to give it a stir. Pop it in the microwave again for 30 seconds and you will notice that it is completely melted. Make sure you use couverture chocolate and not candy melts or compound chocolate. It will totally make a difference on your cake. Just read the back of the ingredients and if you see cocoa butter in it, you're good to go. Now add oil. Make sure it is odorless oil. I have used sunflower oil. Mix it till it comes together. Now add warm water and milk. I have used oat milk, as I said that you can make a vegan version of it. So yeah, but you can use any kind of milk. Go for whole milk or oat milk, almond milk. Make sure your milk is also in room temperature or slightly warm. Mix it till it comes together. Scrape your spatula to make sure no ingredient is stuck to it and everything is in your bowl. Now take a sieve, add flour, Dutch processed cocoa powder, castor sugar, salt, baking soda and baking powder. Pro tip, when you are using your measuring spoons to measure your ingredients, make sure you level it by using a knife or a back of a spoon and do like that, if that makes sense. Sift it all to your wet ingredients bowl. Push all the ingredients that are lumpy down through the sieve. And in case there are still some lumps which are not passing by, you can discard it. Don't add it to your batter. Now it's time to beat it. It's very important to invest in a beater, like a hand beater, because those are just basics of baking. Like you need to have a hand beater, a measuring scale and a spatula. I cannot bake without these 3 things, guys. Just invest in it. It is a long-term investment. They all are gonna last literally forever. Totally worth it. Gift it to yourself, guys. You all deserve it. Using your hand beater, start at slow. Stop once 80% of your batter is incorporated. If you see a lot of flour and dry ingredients around, it's absolutely fine. Using a spatula, clean the edges of your bowl and scrape the bottom of the bowl. Mix the remaining 20% of your batter using a spatula. Do not overmix. Why? Because flour has gluten. The more you mix your flour, you're activating the gluten, which will make your batter elasticy, if that's a word, and that will lead your cake to become more dense, and you don't really want that. You want your cake to be light and fluffy and soft and moist and all of those things. So guys, do not overmix your batter. That is the most important rule when you're making a sponge. Take a 5-inch cake tin, fill your batter into this, but before you start that, you need to fill it with butter paper. I'll show you how that's done. Easiest foolproof method. Place your cake tin on top of your butter paper and using the end of your scissor, make a marking. Look at this. Now simply cut it following the marking. Place it on your cake tin and pour a delicious chocolatey batter in it. Preheat your oven at 180 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes and bake it in your oven at 180 degrees Celsius for up to 20 to 25 minutes. That's what happened to my cake. It took me that much time, but yours might take more, might take less. Depends upon a lot of things. 1. The size of the cake tin you're using. I've used a 5-inch cake tin, but if you use a 6-inch or an 8-inch cake tin, definitely the height of the cake is going to be thinner, and that is why it will take a shorter amount of time to bake. Number 2. Your oven. Every oven is different, guys. I have two ovens in my kitchen and both the ovens work totally different. You need to understand your oven and figure out what is the correct temperature. Ideally, if you want to be super particular, you can also invest on oven thermometer, but you don't have to invest too much in all of these things. You can simply have a basic understanding, just work with your oven, experiment, and you'll get there. Also, make sure you place your cake right in the center of your oven. If you have options of switching on both your rods, make sure both your rods are switched on. Once the cake is ready, poke a toothpick right in the center till the bottom of your cake and remove it. It should come out super clean. Also, I love how bouncy this cake is. Cling wrap the cake in the cake tin itself and refrigerate it overnight. You see how the layer, like the top layer of the cake, is not sticky? This happens very often in eggless cake, and I love how this cake does not have that stickiness. Grab a knife and push the knife away from the cake. It should be closer to the cake tin, and you have to just move it in an up-down motion only. Let that hand stay there itself. Using your other hand, keep rotating the cake tin. And once you have finished this, push your knife inside towards the cake to just make sure it has released the tin. Grab a butter paper, flip the cake over it, tap the tin a couple of times to just make sure it has got released from the tin. And now the most satisfying part, butter paper peel. Once this is done, you have to flip your cake back straight on the butter paper, and to do that, slide your hands underneath the butter paper, hold the cake and flip it back, and there you go, it's done. Now it's time for part 2, making of ganache. You can start this process the minute your cake goes in the oven. All you need is chocolate and cream, that's it. And it should be in the ratio of 2:1. That means if you're using 200 grams of chocolate, you need to use 100 grams of cream. If you're using 500 grams of chocolate, you need to use 250 grams of cream. It's simple. Super duper important to use couverture chocolate. It just enhances the flavor, best taste ever if you use a good quality chocolate. Microwave it for 30 seconds and give it a quick stir. The chocolate which is at the edge of the bowl is what will melt first. So you need to make sure you stir it once so you don't end up burning your chocolate, and then pop it in the microwave again for 30 seconds. You will notice that your chocolate is almost melted at this point of time. In case if it is not, you can pop it in the microwave for 10 to 15 seconds max. But if your bowl is super warm, then it is definitely going to melt with the warmth of your bowl. Look at that, guys. It is so satisfying to just see melted chocolate. I can literally keep watching it all the time. Just take a spatula and play with melted chocolate. It is so much fun. Make sure you collect all the chocolate from the sides of your bowl and even scrape the bottom. Now it's time to add cream. Make sure you microwave it for 30 seconds or maybe slightly more. It should basically be warm and you should be able to see those fumes. I purposely used cream that wasn't warm enough to show you all how to fix it if it happens to you. You're welcome. Mix the chocolate and cream together by doing the cut and fold method, but start slow because your cream can splash all over the place. Once it's relatively combined, you can mix it fast. So my ganache is super lumpy, and this has happened because of my cream not being too warm. So I'll microwave it for 30 seconds and I'll keep mixing it constantly, go crazy mixing. If you still can't get rid of the lumps, you need to pass it through a sieve. And now you have a super duper smooth ganache made. Collect all the ganache from the edges of your bowl and from your spatula and cling wrap it. Leave it in room temperature for up to 2 hours or till it becomes hard to touch. Once it's become hard, beat it starting off slow and keep beating it till it becomes a light brown color. Make sure to scrape the sides and the edges of your bowl and beat it once again. Look at that, guys. Super soft, fluffy, light ganache. It's time for part 3. Technically, part 3. The decoration part. Place ganache on top of your cake using your palette knife. Just spread it all over the top. I'm just doing a snake sort of a motion to make sure the entire cake looks clean. You do not have to be super neat and don't worry about the decor because I have a perfect hack for y'all. You do not have to be super fancy to make a cake that looks brilliant. Take paper straws and cut it into small pieces. You can use your cake as reference to understand the size. Cut around 6 to 8 of those straws. Now I've taken a yellow paper, make a small square, fold it, and then cut it in a shape of a half teardrop. So once you open it, it looks like a full teardrop. Grab some toothpicks and a sellotape. Cut super duper tiny pieces of the sellotape. Attach the sellotape on the toothpick and then the teardrop on it. Slide the straw through the toothpick and there you go. Place all these candles on top of your cake and that's all. Your cake is ready. How fun was that, right? If you want to start off as a home baker, or if you are already a home baker and you are finding it difficult to get smooth finishing on your cake, just remember one thing: it is not necessary you need to learn those skills in order to sell a chocolate cake. You can simply make something like this and it absolutely looks so pretty and delicious. Personally, I would totally buy this cake over a simple plain chocolate cake because this just looks better. Like, I'm just being honest. Creating your own design with your own skill set, you have to make sure you have a presentable professional cake that you're delivering. I hope you all had fun watching this and you all learned a lot from it. I hope you all make this cake and share your work with me on Instagram, tagging us at Cake Pop Rush. Let me also remind you, like this video and subscribe to our channel. If you all don't try, you're missing it out. This whole thing looks like a celebration. Happy baking and keep celebrating!